to the representative of the International Catholic Committee of Nurses and Medico-Social Assistants.
Commission Chair, distinguished panel members, national representatives, and guests. Just before I begin, quickly, we would like to extend our sympathies to the families and friends of yesterday's Algerian plane crash. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. I'll now begin. Thank you for the opportunity to address the United Nations 51st Commission on Population and Development. Our oral statement speaks to the health and well-being of migrants and host nation citizens. Sustainable cities. The World Bank Group cautions that 90% of the current urban centers are hurricane, flood, earthquake, or other natural disaster prone. Compounding the disaster vulnerability is the plight of the impoverished poor. City slums home nearly 1 billion people. Civil war, urban terrorism are spreading violence. This year saw an increase in the crimes of immigrants against women. Police warned women not to leave their homes at particular times, both in Sweden, Finland, Germany, Australia, and Switzerland. Rape is physical, mental, and emotional assault under any circumstances. Healthcare delivery concerns include breakdown of childhood immunizations, shortage of drugs, insufficient time to develop refugee health systems, lack of health records, occurrences of HIV, hepatitis C, tuberculosis, internal parasites, and post-traumatic stress disorders are a concern. Many nurses caring for the sick and infirmed are at risk for religious intolerance. This must stop. Remedies include disaster preparedness with an adequate nurse workforce, academic and vocational pathways to prosperity for the materially impoverished, love of neighbor and action and religious liberty for the spiritually impoverished, and worldwide respect for the dignity of human life from conception to death. Human mobility. Human mobility refers to voluntary and involuntary movement of populations within and across nations. Weather-related disasters displaced 24.2 million people. An estimated 6.9 were displaced due to conflict. Migration immigrants also include persons seeking a better life who voluntarily leave their country of origin. Policies to protect migrants and citizens of host nations are needed. Nurses respond to these events, yet often feel underprepared and lack authority or resources. Disaster-focused instruction and employer policies to engage staff in disaster drills are indicated. International migration. Annually, more than 100,000 migrants are projected to enter the United States, Germany, Canada, UK, Australia, and the Russian Federation. Sender countries sending more than 100,000 migrants include India, Bangladesh, China, Pakistan, and Indonesia. Of the sender countries, more than 70% of the populations live in areas with limited access to hospitals and clinics and rely on alternative medicine. The National Institutes of Health USA reports that traditional energy therapies lack curative evidence. Some traditional methods transgress Catholic beliefs such as Reiki. Culturally competent scientific care must be a standard. In closing, Pope Francis reminds us migrants and refugees are not pawns in the chessboard of humanity. They are children, women, and men who leave or are forced to leave their homes for various reasons, who share legitimate desires for knowing, having, but also for being more. Thank you, and may the efforts of the 51st Commission foster health and strengthen hope, faith, and love to people and nations.
I thank the representative of the International Catholic Committee of Nurses and Medico-Social Assistants.